This conference will now be recorded.
I didn't receive the class 9 video yesterday.
So you could see other videos?
Yeah, I can see the videos, yes.
So let me check if it's uploaded or not. Okay, by end of the session, I'll check an update.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So yesterday we were discussing about the customer master, and in the customer master data, in the master data, we were discussing about the customer master, right? So today let's see the configuration of customer master, how a customer master is created in the SAP system. So let me just log into the system. Yeah. So let me get into the system so we can discuss customer master. So see, if you want to create a customer master in the SAP system, first we need to configure. There are some other concepts which need to be configured. So let me show you what are the other concepts. Yeah. So what's the transaction to create customer master? Anyone?
XD01.
XD01, right? So let me go to the XD01. And when you go to the XD01 to create customer, the first field what you would be seeing is account group. That means if you want to create a customer, you need to select account group. So what is this account group? Why you need to select this account group? That is, see, in SAP, every customer is, it's not only customer, every stakeholder in the business in the SAP is identified as a partner. Okay, they are identified as partners. So customer is also a partner, vendor is a partner, supplier is a partner, and anything, if it is consignment, is a partner, right? Everything is a partner. Your employees are also partners in the business, right? So when I say customer, for customer, there are 4 business partners, right? So customers are classified into 4 different partner functions. One is sold to party.
Sold
Can you please mute? Can you please mute? One is sold to
ship
party,
to part.
and another one is ship to party and payer and bill to party,
Build to part.
right? So bill to party. So any customer is classified into these 4 categories, right? That means a customer is identified in SAP either as a sold to party, ship to party, bill to party, or a payer. So who is a sold to party? So sold to party is the main customer. That means you can have HDFC banks. How many branches of HDFC bank we have in India? Let's say 500. But how many HDFC banks we can have? The corporate office? Only one, right? So there can be only one TCS, there can be only one Infosys, only one Airtel. It cannot be 2. But they can have any number of branches, right? So a sold to party is unique, which is the main your customer. A sold to party can have number of branches, payers, ship to parties, payers, and bill to parties. So let me put it in a scenario. Let's say I'll take the same banking example. Okay, sold to party is your bank, HDFC. So as I told you, this is the main registered customer who is authorized to place orders. We have a ship to party, bill to party, and payer. What is the functionality of a sold to party? A sold to party can place an order. He can place an order. He can receive the goods. He can receive the bill, and he can pay for the bill. That means all the four functionalities a sole to party can do. He can place an order, he can receive the goods, he can receive the bill, and he can pay for that bill. All the functionalities a sole to party can do. But a ship to party can only receive the goods. Ship to party can only receive the goods. A ship to party cannot place an order, cannot receive the bill, and cannot pay for the bill. They can only receive the goods. A bill to party can only receive the bill. Okay, they cannot place an order, they cannot receive the goods, and they cannot pay for the goods. They can only receive the bill, and a payer can pay for the bill. Let's say this is HDFC, some branch in Bangalore, and this branch HDFC need 5 air conditions. Can they place an order and get it for them? Anyone?
No.
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 So what is the process? Why they can't get? Why can't? It's their requirement, right? In their branch, they need 5 air conditions. Why can't they place an order and get it?
They have to process the order through corporate office.
Right? So there will be a purchasing department. Through the purchasing department, you need to process this. So what you need to do? So this branch of HDFC, what it will do is it will collect all the quotations from different vendors. They'll collect quotations from different vendors and pass on to the corporate office. So the purchasing department then process it and raise a purchase order to vendor, and vendor will be delivering the goods to this branch. And let's say this is Hyderabad, and you can tell for this transaction you send bill to this branch, and let's say this is Kolkata, and they can tell, and this bill will be paid by this branch, right? So a sold to party can do all the functionalities, but a ship to party can only receive the goods, a bill to party can only receive the bill, and a payer can only pay the bill. So whenever you're creating customer, first you need to select account groups, because in the account groups, it is controlled that what customer you are trying to create. So if I'm trying to create, you can just as easily identify by seeing the fields itself. So is the font okay, or do I need to increase the font? Anyone? Anyone attending from mobile? Is the font okay?
No, just you increase, please.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Praveen.
Because later when you watch in the mobile, this would be very small for revision. I hope now it's good, right? Yeah. So XD01. So if you want to create a customer, first you need to select an account group. So in the account group, you will be having sold to party, ship to party, bill to party, payer, and this all different account groups you will be seeing. Okay. So if I try to create a customer, and I'll just show you only the field changes as of now. So how an account group
Praveen?
will impact a customer.
Sorry, Praveen. Praveen, if I have to describe account group in one liner, how can I describe it?
We'll come there. I'll show you. I'll show you the way this thing. In one line, if you want to tell account group controls the field status of customer master.
Okay.
Okay. So account group controls field status and some parameters. You can put parameters also. It controls field status and parameters. It is a very, very important interview question. What is it? We'll discuss that. Okay. So what is an account group? Account group will tell system what customer you are trying to create. That means whether you are trying to create a sold to party, or a ship to party, or a bill to party, or a payer. If you are trying to create a sold to party should have all the functionalities, because he can place an order, he can receive an order, he can receive the bill, he can pay the bill, right? That means he should have every functionality. But a ship to party, do a ship to party need billing details? Not necessarily. A ship to party need only shipping details, right? And a payer, do they need any details about shipping? No. Payer needs only billing detail. That's it. You don't need shipping details, right? That means we don't show all the data to the customers. Okay. We hide them. And in the first instance, here itself we'll do. See, customer master, you can consider it as front end, and account groups you can consider as back end. That means if you want to add a new field, or if you want to suppress a field, if you want to make a field mandatory, anything in the front end, whatever you want to control in the customer master, you do it through the account groups. So first, let me just open one customer and show you the difference, field difference. I'll try to open sold to party. This is not the sold to party we're looking for. Okay, let me go through this. I'll open 0. Okay, I'm trying to create a customer sold to party. Okay, so you see, we have company code data, sales area data, and by default you are in general data. Whenever you get into the customer screen, first by default you will be always in the general data, and you can also see company code data and sales area data. And customer, in the general data we have 7 tabs, right? You can see all the tabs. I'll do one thing, I'll just fill only the mandatory fields and I'll proceed. Just only to show you, so how is the difference between the screens and fields. So if I come here to sales area data, for a customer sold to party, you are seeing lots of fields, right? You are seeing sales tab, shipping tab, billing tab, and partner functions. You're seeing all the 4, right? If I'm trying to create a sold to party. Now, I'll try to create some other functional, other customer, not sold to party, a bill to party or something else. So I'll try to create a bill to party. Let's see for a bill to party, if you can notice some screen changes. I'll just give again mandatory field. If you remember, I entered one field called as transportation zone here, all 00001. Anyone noticed it? Earlier when I'm showing,
Yes.
right? So that's the first change you are noticing here. There is no transportation zone for a bill to party. And if I go to sales area data, you see only sales. What happened to that shipping, billing, and partner functions? And even in the sales, earlier if you notice, there are lots of fields here. Sales district, the sales office, probability, lots of fields. But you don't see all of them. Why? For a bill to party, you don't need this all information, right? So only address so that you can send a bill. Likewise, if I try to create a ship to party, let us see what happens if I try to create a ship to party. Okay, I'll do payer. For a payer, you see, for a payer, you are seeing something called as sales as well as billing documents, right? If I go for ship to party, you will see shipping tab as well because ship to party needs ship to details, right? So what does that account group controls? And one more thing, if I go back, yeah. So if I go to the customer first screen, I told you that I will fill only the mandatory fields. What are you are seeing some check boxes within the fields, right? These are mandatory fields. That means within a field, if you see some checkbox like this, it's a mandatory field. So if I press enter, system will take me to here. And until unless I fill this, I cannot proceed. It's a mandatory. Fill in all required entries, right? That means until unless I fill this field, system will not allow me to proceed. And if I enter this, again system will come and stop here. You see? Until unless I enter, system will not take me to the next field, right? So where it's controlled, where it is controlled that only this tab should be shown for a sold to party or a bill to party. Again, if you notice, I told you about the transportation zone, that field was suppressed, it was not here, and some fields are mandatory. So where exactly it is all controlled? That is in the account groups. That's in the account groups. That means whenever you are creating customer, first you select account groups. Why you select account groups? Because account group controls the field status of customer master. The transaction code to access account groups is OVT0. Okay, OVT0. And you have 4 partner functions account group. 001 means sold to party, 002 goods received, that is shipped to party, and 03 payer, and 04 bill to party, right? If I go to 001 sold to party and details, what does an account group controls? Anyone? What does an account group controls? Field
Field
status of
status.
customer master, right? So you can see the field status block here. It has general data, it has company code data, it has sales area data. And general data is divided into how many screens or tabs? 7. If I double click this general data, you see all the tabs. And in the address tab, we are seeing lots of fields. If I double click address, you see all the name, district, country, transportation zone. You are seeing everything. And here you are mentioning whether you want to suppress that field, that means invisible, mandatory, it's an optional, or only display. So here you are controlling. So now let's do one thing. I'll go back to customer master, XD01. Okay, I'll try to create a sold to party. Right. So you see here, name is mandatory, right? If I don't enter name, system will not allow me to proceed. Our search term is mandatory. So I'll do one thing. In the account groups, name, right? It is mandatory. Here you mentioned. I'll suppress it. Now let me go back to the customer. So name is, you can see the field name right below the title. Now let me go for this again, XP01. You see, now you don't see the name here. You see only title here, right? So what happened to that field name? We have suppressed in the backend in the account groups. In the account groups, we have suppressed this field, right? So this is what an account group controls. What does an account group control? An account group controls field status of customer master and some parameters as well. What are those parameters? I'll tell you later. So in the interview, they ask a question in a different way. What all parameters account group controls? Two questions from account group. What does account group control? One thing. So account group control field status of customer master. The other question is, what are the parameters account group control? These are the parameters. These are the different parameters which account group controls, right? So I hope now you got an idea about an account group, right? Why you need to select an account group whenever you are creating a customer master, right? So if you are trying to create a customer master, first you should select account groups, because account group will control what kind of customer it is and what fields to be mandatory, what not to be mandatory, and what should be shown under these all things, right? So the next is customer, this field. So if you notice, I'm leaving this field blank whenever I'm trying to create a customer. I'm leaving this field blank and press enter. So you see organizational elements. As I mentioned, any master data, any transaction in the SAP module you create should be under sales area. It should be under a sales area, right? So I'm leaving this field blank and say enter. And what system says? Internal here. That means system has not generated the number of the customer. It still is internal. But when I save, then it will show you the customer number. Let me just check. Like 40. Yeah. Right. So still it says internal. If I save, it's a new system, so it's taking time. If not, it will not take this much time. But still, even though the system is very fast. So every transaction is the first time, so it's taking this much time to execute. It's taking too long time. Let it load. So you see here it says internal, right? And when it execute everything and it should give me the customer number. So I'm not entering the customer number, right? So system itself is populating the customer number once I create a customer and click on the save. So how it's happening? So from where system is taking that particular number, and what do you mean by this internal, right? So let us, yeah, you see here now. So after executing all these things, system says that your customer number is 5000. It's 5. Until now, system was telling that it was internal, but how system has pulled and assigned a number called as 5 for this customer. And if I create one more customer, it will be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It will be continuous, right? So when I leave this field blank and it says internal, and when I save it, then system has pulled a number and assigned it to that particular customer. So what is this field customer is all about? This field is all about a concept called as number ranges. Customer number ranges. So what is the concept? This concept is called as account groups. Again, we'll come back. It's a concept to again discuss. So we'll discuss it later, right? Number ranges. So usually if you want to create a customer master in the system, before creating customer master itself, you need to configure account groups. And there is another concept called as partner determination procedure. If you configure these two concepts, then only you can create customer master. And these two concepts are done by consultant. Then a user is allowed to create a customer master, right? But in the training scope, first we'll discuss this and later we'll discuss this because this has some configurations. PDP is a nightmare even for a working consultants. It's not that easy to understand. So first let us understand customer master, get some hands-on and see the screens, fields and everything. Then I'll put all this together so that it will be very easy for you to understand, right? So number ranges, how do we create in the system? XDN1. XDN1 is the transaction code. So let's get to the XDN1 transaction and see what is number ranges. XDN1, and this is range maintenance for customer. That means customer number ranges. Go to intervals, click on this intervals, and you see 5. What is this NR status? We just created a customer, right? And we are telling system that 000001 to 99. This is one series. And now when we created a customer, system has assigned a number called as 5. Why system has given a number called as 5 when I created a customer now? Because in the account groups, see, if you're trying to create a customer, you should select an account group, right? If you're trying to create a customer, you need to select account group. Somewhere it is opened. Yeah. So if you're trying to create a customer, you should select account group first thing. What does account group controls? Account group controls field status. Account group, it not only controls field status, it also controls the number ranges of customer. You see here, the number range is 01. What is 01 in the number ranges here? Configuration XDN1. What is 01? You're telling system that if I try to create a customer with this number, with this account group called as 001, with this account group called as 0001, you need to pull the number from a series called as 01. And in the series 01, you mentioned it should be from 1 to 99. So that's the reason when I try to create a customer with the sole to party 001 account group, system has assigned a number called as 5. If I try to create a next customer, it will be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 until I create it with this particular account group. If I change account group, it might again change because in the other account group, you might be having a different number range assigned. So this is sold to party, right? But if I go to something else, like say goods receipt, this is also having 01 CPD. Okay, this is a standard system, so it's having everything 0, 1. But now let us discuss what is number range concept and how you can create your own ranges. So in the training scope, you might not be seeing enough number ranges available because someone has already taken whatever the range you are looking for. If you still want to have your own range, what you can do is you can click on this insert interval, this icon insert interval, and place your cursor here and press F4. Okay, just place your cursor here and press F4. So there are no values available. That means there is no free range available. Everyone has taken that, right? So if there is a range available, then you can use it, and that range you'll be storing in number 0, 1 or 0, 2 or x, y, x10, whatever it can be. We'll save that in the range. So don't take very huge ranges, because you will not be, see, you see this range, it is close to, what is it? It is 700,000, right? 700,000 to this range. Will you be creating any customer, this big customers? You don't do, right? So don't block the ranges like this. So you just take some small ranges, 1 to 99. Okay, if you are creating something new, if you are going with the standard, just leave it to the standard, right? So it can be, you can also give alphabetical or numerical ranges, and you can specify the range from where it should, from what number to what number it can be, and you save it in this particular 0, 1. So when, and you go back and assign that to your account groups. That means whenever you try to create a customer with this account group, system will take number for that customer from here. So if you see here something called as external, what is this external? So when I try to create a customer, system was telling that it's an internal, right? When I leave that field blank, customer field blank, and when I proceed, system was telling that it was internal. Internal means system itself will pull the number and assign to the customer. You don't need to enter a customer number. If it is external, we have to enter it. So let us take some external series. 04 is the external series. You see, it is marked as external here. So now what I'll do is I'll go to the account group 001 and I'll change this. What is that series? What is that? 04. Okay, I'll change this particular 01 to 04. Sorry, not this. For sold to party, I'll change it to 04. So earlier system has allowed to create a customer, right? When I go to XD01 and if I mention the sold to parties and I leave this field blank, we have proceeded and system shows internal, and when I save, system has given a customer number 5. But now if I press enter, you see system doesn't allow. And what system says? Account group sold to party is using external number assignment. So you please give the number. So how the system knows that this is an external? That is through the configuration what you mentioned in the number ranges, because 04 is the external range. We should give the number. So what number we should mention? Anything between this range, right? So I'll just give this number and system should allow me. If I give this, yeah, now you see. So that means before creating customer itself, you are giving the customer number. This is external. If it is internal, it will say internal here, and system itself will automatically assign a customer number, right? So from where it's getting done, it's getting from the number ranges. You create a number range and assign this number to the account groups, and you create customer with reference to account group, right? And if you see, can I change something? See, if you mark it as external, then only it is external. If not, if it is blank like this is internal. If this is blank, it is internal. If I mark it, then only it is external. Okay. So why for this system is not allowing me to change? It is grayed out. It's grayed out, right? But why system is allowing for me to uncheck or check this? I still have an option for range 4 for this series 04 range. I still have an option whether I want it to be internal or external. But if you see this range 01, it is internal. I cannot change it to external. I cannot mark this external. Why? Because you can only edit this until you create a customer. 0. In this range, not even a single customer is created. That's the reason system is still allowing you to decide whether you want to go for internal or external. Even one customer is created, that is freeze. You cannot change it. Okay. And very important question in the interviews they will be asking is, what is NR status? This field. What is NR status in the number ranges? What is NR status? This NR status will tell you what is the current number being used. We just created a customer and the number is 5, right? This is the current number being used. If I create one more customer, it will be 6. So NR status will tell us what is the current number being used, right? So this is about the number ranges. And whenever we create a customer, first we select. So whenever we create a customer, first we select account groups. Account groups will control what all the fields should be, what tabs should be, and account groups also controls the number ranges, what whether it's internal or external. If it is internal, system will give you the number. If it is external, we should mention the number, right? So now let's proceed. I hope I changed it. Let me check. This is still same. So now let's proceed and discuss what are the controls we have in the tabs. So sold to party. So title, okay, we suppressed the name, right? Just a moment. Let us not disturb the standards. The name is a required entry, but we suppressed it earlier. Okay. So first thing is you need to mention the name. Name is a mandatory field, and search term. Search term is a unique. See, okay, I'll do one thing. I'll go with the already existing customer so that you can see the data and you can relate. Okay, so company and the name of the customer. See, there is a chance you can have two customers with the same name, right? So how do you differentiate them? Okay, account number wise you can differentiate, but is anything else? If you want to search that customer, you can give a search term. This search term is a unique name to identify this customer. Okay, so whenever you have a similar customer, it will help us to easily identify. So search term is usually uniquely identify this customer when you want to search for a customer, and the rest is the address of this customer. You can go through all the details, right? So in this screen you have the general data of the customer. Okay, only address related of the customer, and you'll be mentioning the email ID here. So any communication to the customer, order confirmation, quotation, everything will be sent on this email ID, right? So that's what the controls we have in this first field tab called as address. In some businesses, your customer can also be a vendor, right? Your customer can also be a vendor. If it is that, you can mention that in the control data. That we don't do that. That is a FI activity. Vendor, customer is 1000, vendor is also same number. You can create with the same number. So our address is created by SD. Control data payment terms created by FI. Let's move on to the marketing. Nelson ID. What is a Nelson? You might be knowing, right? The Nelson is a consulting company which do surveys and a lot of reporting. These all things they will be doing, right? That means, see, if your business want to launch a new product, and before launching itself, you want to do some market study. So you want to take the feedback from the people and you want to change something. So if you want to do something like that, you can tie up with Nelson. There are lots of organizations and agencies. Nelson is one of the agents, very famous to do this market research. So if your business is tie up with Nelson ID, then you need to mention here this customer belongs to which region. Because I'll do one thing. Let me put it in the scenario. So you can take as per your location, where you are. If you're from US, you can take US cities, US states, US currency. If you're from UK, you can take UK currency, UK states, and these are things. Okay. So I might be referring to some Indian cities or these things. If you don't understand, you just take a US cities. Okay. So let's take 4 different states. I want to take, one is Gujarat, and one is Rajasthan, and one is Andhra Pradesh, and one is Telangana. And I want to go for another West Bengal and Odisha. So this region, these 2 states, Gujarat and Rajasthan, these 2 states I want to call it as X1. I want to give a key X1. AP and Telangana, it is X2, and West Bengal and Odisha, it is X3. So now my business want to launch a new product in this region, in AP and Telangana. So what we'll do, before launching the product into this region, we will pull up all the customers who are in these states and give that data to the Nelson. So that Nelson will approach our customers and take their feedback and give a complete market research report. So how do I identify that who are the customers in this region? That is through a key called as X2. That means, let's say this customer, whatever we are trying to create now, is in these states. I will assign X2 here. So later when I run a report saying that I want customers who are having Nelson ID as X2, system will pull a report and give it to me, right? So from where we create these things, see, user have an option only to select it. User can press F4 and he can select. That's it. User cannot create it. But who will create it? Consultants. Where do we do that? Where do consultant works? In IMG, right? So SPRO, anything related to the customer master. If you want to create a new thing, for that you need to go for SPRO, sales and distribution. SPRO, sales and distribution, master data, and the business partners, customers. Under customer, we have different hierarchies, right? So we are now discussing about marketing. Under marketing, we need to create Nelson ID, right? At present, what Nelson IDs we have in the customer? We have only 2, right? 01 and 02, region 1, region 2. But I want to give X1, X2, X3. So let me close these things. So in the IMG, in the define Nelson ID, and here you can create new entries. X1, I want to call it as AP and Telangana. X2, I want to give it as Gujarat and Rajasthan. Just it's only a key to identify. That's it. Just mention this and save. That's it. Now if I go here and if I press F4, you see both the keys, whatever we have created in the SPRO, has come here into the customer master. Certain things immediately update, certain things you need to refresh. That means you need to come out of the transaction again, you need to open the transaction, but certain things get updated immediately. So now I want to put a key called as X1 for this customer. So who all the customers are belonging to these 2 states, I'll assign X1 so that I can pull out the report later and give it to Nelson for market research, right? The next is customer classification. So we classify customers many times and we group customers many times for different reasons. Certain times we want to classify customers basing upon the discount or the turnover they give to you, or sometimes we group the customers basing upon the discount or the price what you want to offer to the customer. Okay, so here we are trying to classify the customers on what basis? On the turnover what they would be giving to the company, between 5 million to 7 million or 1 million to 2 million. So basing upon that, let's say the customers who are giving 10 million, the service, the price, the discount, everything would be different, right? But the customer who gives 1 million turnover, so your approach may not be the same. You may not be giving that best price or best discount or best service, right? So that is customer classification. So we classify customers basing upon turnover. So if you want to create anything new as per your client requirement, the same thing you can create here under the marketing itself. We have customer classification. So there is something standard already available up to 0.5 million. See, in SAP, point is nothing but comma. Don't confuse. It is 0.5. This is 0.5 to 1.5. In SAP, dot is resembled as comma. So 1.5, 2.5, 3. So this is how. So basing upon what turnover this customer is going to give you, we will be assigning that particular key here. That is between how much turnover you will be giving, right? So this is, we are classifying customers basing upon the turnover what they are giving to us. Then next, which industry your customer belongs to, and if you have any sub industries, like say you take IT industry. IT industry is again classified into software, hardware, BPO, KPO, a lot of things. Healthcare industry, pharmaceuticals, hospitals, diagnostics, right? Lot of things. So if some industries might be having sub industries, so you can mention that. If you want to create anything new industries, again you can go back to the same configuration step, and you can create industry, right? And key figures of the customer, that means what is his annual sales, what is his employees, and this all data. And fiscal year variant, this is important. Fiscal year variant is nothing but financial year. What is the financial year of the customer? If you take US, the financial year of US is from January to December with 4 quarters, right? If it's India, the financial year starts from April 1st to March 30. April 1st to March 31st, right? And with 4 quarters. So basing upon your customer, see, company code will have a financial year, your customer will have a financial year. Okay. So your company code financial year is the, like, which country you belong to, in which country you're doing business. Basing upon that, your financial year it would be. And if this customer belong to which country, and that basing upon that particular, you will be mentioning financial year here. So there are two, K4 and V3. So K4 is calendar year, 4 specific periods. Calendar year means January to February, January to December. This is for US. If it is India, it is V3, April to March with 4 special periods, right? So depending upon what financial year the customer is following, which country they are, you would be mentioning that particular fiscal year variant. The next is legal status. That means what is the legal status of your customer, whether he is a limited, private limited, LLC, PLC, INC, whatever it is. So you'll be mentioning that. So that's what we have in the marketing tab. The next is unloading points. So unloading points. How many calendars we have? Anyone?
Factory
Two
calendar,
calendars.
customer calendar.
Factory calendar and customer calendar. So factory calendar we already discussed, right? This is customer calendar. You see, this is where we assign a customer calendar. Where we create, I'll show you, but we assign it here. See, a customer in a city, he can have 10 unloading points, right? So you'll be mentioning here what is unloading point, name, and when he will be unloading the goods in this unloading point only on weekdays. There might be another unloading point, it's only on weekends, like that, right? So we should also know what is the factory calendar of the customer and goods receiving hours. That means, as I told you in the last class, some customers might be there because of some traffic rules, restrictions in their city. They want to unload goods only after 9 p.m. and up to 6 a.m. in the morning. In the daytime, they don't allow you to unload the goods because the truck cannot come inside the city, right? So basing upon that, you would be mentioning this particular goods receiving hours and customer calendar. So that you would be assigning here. Where do we create a calendar? We create a calendar again in the same, okay, not that particular marketing tab. No. Come out of this marketing, shipping, go to shipping. The shipping, we have goods receiving hours, we have customer calendar. So this is where you create the transaction code. Is something you don't need to really remember the T codes. Transaction is OVR3, but the same process is same, how to create a holiday calendar and everything, but this is a customer calendar. If you are creating a factory calendar, the transaction is different, SCAL. And this is a customer calendar. You create the same calendar and you assign that calendar here for the unloading point. And goods receiving hours, that means at what time they want to receive. So if it is on Monday morning 9 to 12:45, in the afternoon it is 13 to 17 hours, right? So even goods receiving hours also you can assign at the same place. So here itself we can create the goods receiving hours 01 weekdays. In the weekdays from which time to which time, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? So this is how we create a customer calendar and we assign that customer calendar in the unloading points for the customer master, right? The next, there is no export data now because as I told you, export import has been completely removed, no foreign trade, and everything is only now GTS, right? So there is no this particular export data. And contact person, that is who is the contact person, who is the face of the company, with whom you will be negotiating quotations or these all things. Their description, their email ID, phone numbers, and everything will be mentioning here. So this is what we have in the general data, right? The next is company code data. Even though we are into sales, but as I told you, there are some integrations. In the interviews also, they majorly focus on questions on the integrations because it's like one shot two birds. They can understand whether you know SD better or not, and they can also understand whether you know integrations or not. So most of the time, if anything is integrations, don't ignore, because most of the time the same questions they ask in interviews, which is having integrations. So let's go to the company code, one or two fields which we have to discuss. The first is reconciliation account, very important. What is reconciliation account? So just you can Google it, or I hope you received the glossary of complete SAP. I don't know whether I sent to you or not, but there is a complete glossary of SAP from A to G. What are the possible terminologies you will be having in SAP SD? You have a definitions there. So like what is BDC, what is batch split, what is bill to party, what is billing block, like this. You have a glossary completely, right? So it will also help you for the interview purpose. If someone don't receive, let me know, I'll send you, right? So reconciliation account, just go through the document or Google it. Reconciliation is not SAP standard, it is an industry accounting standard. Reconciliation account. See, whenever you create a transaction, or else that means, let's say you are doing some banking transaction, you sent money to some account. What is the status at your bank account? Is it debit or credit when you transfer amount?
Credit.
Debit.
When
Debit.
you transfer it, it is debited. Your bank account is
Debit.
debited. When you receive the money, your bank account is credited,
Credit.
right? That means in the business, whenever we raise a transaction, that means whenever we create an invoice to the customer account should get debited, right? Because he has to pay the company, right? Customer account will get debited to revenue account credited, or company account will get credited and customer account will get debited whenever you raise an invoice to the customer. So when I say debit, when I say credit, if it is your bank account, where exactly it is reflecting? Your bank account number, right? So how you transfer to another bank account? Based to the, from your bank account number to another bank account number, you will be transferring. That means if this bank account number is 1 2 3 4 5 and this is 6 7 8 9 10, so from 1 2 3 4 5 account, the amount is getting debited and crediting into 6 7 8 9 10, right? At the same way, if I say customer account debit, debit means there should be some account. So here we call it as general ledger account, GL account. So where system exactly will post these values, in which general ledger account system will post, that is considered from reconciliation account. Whatever the general ledger account you assign it here, system will go and post the debit values of customer into that ledger. Okay, revenue we'll discuss later. This itself is a concept. Okay, so what is reconciliation account? It is the account which system considers to post the debit values of a customer. Okay, whenever you do a transaction, so where system posts the debit value, how system considers the GL account, from where it is from the reconciliation account. Very important for the interview, standard definition, right? So this is one field which we need to know in the, we have one or two other fields, but with the same, within the same.
Can you repeat it, both definition again? GL account and recon account?
So recon account is, it is an account which system considers to post the debit values of the customers whenever you raise an invoice to the customer. That is reconciliation account. Okay. And general ledger account is a standard again. See, for every transaction you do, you post values, right? So where you post in some account. So that is general ledger. Okay. You can just Google it, the standard definition, nothing specific to SAP. Whatever is in the Google, that itself is a definition, right? So that's what we have the controls in the general company code data. Let's move on to the sales area data. Sales area data we'll discuss tomorrow. Yeah, sales area data we'll discuss tomorrow, right? So any questions for today?
Praveen, can you send the videos for yesterday's class and today's class?
Yeah, I'll upload.
Yes.
Sure.
And the glossary. So should we write a mail to you? Because I don't think so. We have received the glossary.
You received that?
It will
Okay, I'll
just-
do one thing. I'll send it to everyone. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, please. Yeah, send.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, haven't got the access.
Daniel, right? I've seen your email, Daniel. I'll try to send you. Okay.
Okay, I just the
When I upload
access
the
to that.
video,
Oh, yeah,
when I
the
upload
video.
the video, I'll try to send it.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Yeah. So see you all and catch up tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll continue the same sales area data. Right. Bye. Good night.